Hey guys, what's up? It's Kevin for the win here. We're back for another edition of Diablo 3. Today on the channel, I'm going to be showing you the Season 22 starter set for the Crusader, known as Valor Set. I will be putting a link to the armor in the description, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to show you visually exactly what you want set up on this armor. Decided to do things a little bit differently today. Wanted to show the armor in action first, and then show you the pieces that you need. Basically, it uses some of the Valor set, as well as 2 pieces of Captain Crimson. For those of you who are not familiar, Valor Satyr in particular relies on dropping Heaven's Furies down from the sky to do massive amounts of damage. When you get free stacks of Fist of the Heavens, you get an attack increase, as well as a defense increase to your armor. On top of that, when you get free stacks of Heaven's Fury, or I should say free stacks of Fist of the Heavens stacked together, your Heaven's Fury and also Fist of the Heavens abilities are powered up. So pretty much what you want to do whenever you're playing Valor Satyrs, the first thing that you're going to do is pop your Akarat's champion wherever you have it designated. That will increase your attack speed. It will also give you an attack boost. It will also give you a defense boost. Then you're going to start chucking well, not really Heaven's Fury, but you're going to be chucking Fist of the Heavens down to pretty much take out mobs. Based on the way that I have my KNOX cube set up, I'm able to do massive amounts of damage with Fist of the Heavens. So, for all intents and purposes, Heaven's Fury in particular, you're only really going to use it when you run into an elite pack that you're having a difficult time of taking down, or when you get to the Rift Guardian, where you're just pretty much let loose with all your Heaven's Fury. So for the most part, this set's a major source of damage, and where most of its damage is going to come from is Fist of the Heavens. And that's why it's so important to keep channeling it, because the more you channel, like I said before, free stacks will increase your attack and defense. By the 3rd stack of this, on top of that, you also get a boost to not only your Heaven's Fury, but as well as your Fist of the Heavens. So think about that. The 4th Fist of the Heavens that you cast is going to be doing a massive amount of damage, more so than the one that were the first 3, which is why it's very important to just keep casting Fist of the Heavens. Now, this is considered the S-tier Crusader set in Season 21. In Season 22, it still seems like this perhaps is going to be positioned to be one of 2 S-tier classes for the Crusader. It's before this, pretty much Season 21 and down, as far as Valor Satyr has been introduced, which has only been roughly about maybe 6 months to a year at this point, was considered the end-all to be-all for the Crusader. In Season 22, as I've mentioned previously on the channel the last couple of weeks, Crusader got a kind of buff to a skill that hadn't really been used in quite a while. That is considered bombardment. So right now, as it stands, there's an interesting mix of things that were going on in the PTB. There's a mix set for the Crusader known as Crusader Bombardment, in which you use pieces of the, I believe it's called Akan armor. Yes, that's correct. It's the Akan armor mixed with 2 pieces of the Invoker set. And basically what it is it's a Thorns/Bombardment Crusader, and I will be featuring that armor set at the beginning, the official start of Season 22 of Diablo. Now, I've had people ask me on social media. For those of you who are not following me on Twitter, that's Kevin for the win. It's Kevin with the number 4 and then the win. And people have been asking me on social media when I was going to be doing Bombardment Crusader, and also when Season 22 of Diablo was going to be dropping. Now, originally, Season 22 of Diablo would have originally started probably this 1st November, the first Friday in November. However, many people have been stating PTB was pushed back a little bit. So right now, we only really have a projected date for it, which is not an official confirmation. The projected date will be either the 13th of November, that would be this upcoming Friday, since this is today, Monday, or that it would be the following week, which I believe is for the 23rd or the 24th. Previous seasons that have taken place in November usually were the middle of November, so I'm more inclined to believe that we'll possibly and potentially be seeing Season 22 drop, perhaps, this Friday. However, Blizzard, as of this recording, has not officially announced anything, and usually they would have announced it already, so I think it's safe to say Season 21, at least for console players who didn't have access to PTBs, because we never get it, are probably not going to be able to do anything in regards to Season 22 until at least the third Friday in November at this point. I will definitely update everybody in the comments, but the fact that Blizzard has not made an official confirmation as of yet leads me to believe that chances are we're going to be seeing it a little bit later in November. Alright, so I'm going to show you right now what those gems are using. It's a Bane of the Powerful, a Bane of the Stricken, and pretty much a Bane of the Trap. You can also use in this armor set, you swap out Bane of the Powerful in particular for Bane of the Stricken when you're doing high greater rifts such as this. You would want to run a Pain Enhancer, and then you would probably run Bane of the Trap because you could do pretty much accumulative damage from status effects that you'll be able to get off. Because you have to remember, when you get a Bane of the Trap up to 25 in the Legendary Gem, it automatically will cast Slow as a percentage. This is going to be a Greater Rift 75 that we're doing. The reason I'm doing higher Greater Rifts is because I wanted to show off, for those that have been acting on social media, how well does this armor really push on optimized. Now, I've mentioned this in the past. This particular armor set that I'm using, not every part of the armor has been augmented with a legendary gem as of yet. This is with roughly 2 to 3 augmentations on it. Particularly what you really would want to do for your Crusader is you definitely want to make sure you have all legendary pieces for what is described in the description. At the end of the video, again, I will show you exactly what you need to run and how to do it. So, but yeah, you want legendary pieces. So, if you're starting out Season 22 of Diablo, or when you eventually do, this is going to be your starter set that you will be able to acquire after you have completed Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and Chapter 4 of the Season Journey. For those of you who are not familiar with how seasonal journeys work, there's roughly about 12 chapters per season. Starting in the second chapter, your reward for completing that chapter, which is basically objectives like kill Diablo at like level 50, chances are it won't be that one, or, you know, augment a gem to level 30, or make sure you slot all your armor pieces with gem slots, stuff like that. Every time you complete all the objectives for that particular chapter, at the end of it, you get a reward. Starting at Chapter 2, your reward becomes a Hadred's Gift, which will automatically, randomly, when you open it, give you 2 pieces of your set armor, which would be Valor for this particular armor set and for this particular season for the Crusader. So then when you complete the 3rd chapter, your reward will be 2 more pieces of the Valor set. Then when you complete the 4th chapter of the seasonal journey, you'll get the last 2. You're guaranteed to get a complete set of the armor. You will always get a complete set. You will never get 2 pieces of the same exact item. In order to take the Valor set to an even higher level, what people who are playing Season 22 will definitely want to start out doing in the beginning of their seasonal journey is a couple of things. First off, you're going to need to craft yourself a Captain Crimson's belt, and you're going to need a Captain Crimson's boot. Now, this, basically, those 2 particular pieces can be acquired by destroying particular goblins that drop it. Sometimes you'll be able to get it through Tyrael's bounties, so completing bounty rewards sometimes give you a chance of dropping it. Pretty much you want to go for goblins and bounties. That's probably how... Ooh, I took a quick death there. I'm at Torment 75, so keep in mind the mobs are hitting quite hard. So one of the things you definitely want to do is you want to, you know, target all those goblins, particularly the green goblins, which I believe, if I remember correctly, their names are Malevolent Goblins, which they have a chance of dropping armor set pieces, or plans for armor set pieces. You want to buy plans as well. You want to acquire plans. Pretty much just grinding through your bounties. You're going to be pretty much, as you're completing your seasonal journey, because you'll need to do bounties for seasonal journey, you're going to acquire the plans for the Captain Crimson pieces. So you want to definitely focus on getting the belt and getting the Footwear, particularly fast. Those are things to focus on. Before you even focus on that, the regular Valor Set will take you at least probably to about greater with 40 when you start optimizing a bit. See, this is where Fist of the Heavens and Heaven's Fury chain, because as you saw, I dropped 3 of them, but I couldn't take out those elite packs. So what I did was I started firing Heaven's Fury, because Heaven's Fury gets the stack power from the armor of Valor. So after 3 stacks of Heaven's Fury, those, or I should say 3 stacks of Fist of the Heavens, Heaven's Fury, when you pop it, is doing large amounts of damage. Now, like I was saying before, though, when you're going for your seasonal journey, make sure you get the Captain Crimson's belt and footwear plans significantly early. It'll make your life a lot easier as you're getting past Chapter 4 of your seasonal journey. The next thing that you definitely also should be focusing on during the same time period is looking for a Fate of the Fell, which is basically the weapon that you use in your left hand. Let me take care of this Rift Guardian. See, I'm going to chuck 3 Heaven's Furies after I did 3 stacks of Fist of the Heavens. That allows me to take out the Rift Guardian basically in 2 to 3 hits. That's always what you're going to want to do, particularly with this armor set. You save the Heaven's Fury till you get to the Rift Guardian. Until then, you just use Fist of the Heavens to zone everything, so you don't even have to go up and close personal. That's the good thing about this particular set, which is why pretty much everybody considers it S tier. You don't have to do up close and personal battles, which gives you a lot more leeway and allows you to be able to keep safe distances to be able to grind through those Greater Rifts. That was Greater Rift 75. You saw it was a pretty fast clear time. Now we're going to go up. This is going to be a Greater Rift 80. The reason I'm continuing to increase the Greater Rifts as opposed to just trying to do some speed farming for items is because people have been asking me, well, how far can you realistically take this armor unoptimized? A lot of people don't see me play too many times really high Greater Rifts, which I'm obviously capable of doing. I've actually cleared Greater Rift 150s with a group of teammates that I play with on Diablo 3. Pretty much relative with ease. Pretty much all these armors that I'm using right now are past seasonal armors because I think it's important. I don't want to show you something that's going to be clearing Greater Rift 150s when we're beginning a new season, because it wouldn't really make too much sense, because I'm telling you, well, this is what you should go for, but in general, Greater Rift 150 armors, or armors that are capable of clearing Greater Rift 150s, are usually armors that have access to Paragon, high levels of Paragon, which can only be done non-seasonally, for your regular characters that, have been finished from a season. So keep that in mind. Usually, when it comes to seasonal journeys for Diablo, the highest you're really going to need to clear is a Greater Rift 90 before you should be able to get all your challenges completed. Pretty much caps. Like, once you hit Greater Rift 70 in a seasonal challenge, you're pretty much done up to about Chapter 11 of the seasonal journey. Then there's a possibility you'll get an 80 or a 90, depending on what Blizzard likes to do. But really, you're only going to be stretching to 90. They're not going to have you doing a Greater Rift 150 to complete your whole seasonal journey. They just never do that in Diablo. At some point, they just have you doing the Conquest, which are specific challenges that you have to do on a specific difficulty and a specific time period. So, it's usually a time frame of, okay, you got to clear this Greater Rift of level 70 within, 2 to 3 minutes, which is really hard to do, which is why. But they never really focus on get to a Greater Rift 150 in seasons. It's just not feasible. 150s are usually reserved for people who have high Paragon. Usually, I'd say probably close to 1,500 Paragon to even maybe 2,000 Paragon before really people start trying to tackle on Greater Rift 150s. And even then, it's upper well. Because like I said, once you get past Greater Rift 70, HP of mobs starts to scale high. After 75, when you're getting to 80, 85, this is, if I'm not mistaken, we're at 80 right now, so this is 5 levels higher than the maximum Torment, which is Torment 16, so mobs in particular have a lot more HP, they do a lot more damage. You could potentially get one-shotted if you're not careful, which is why you can't get too aggressive with the Crusader. Speaking of which, I'm getting a bit too aggressive here. I gotta be careful. Maybe I should hang back a little bit and just zone everybody and get my chains. Remember, after every third stack, that 4th one that I cast of Heaven's Fury, or not Heaven's Fury, Fist of the Heavens, is doing a tremendous amount of damage. Oops, and I took a death there. Another thing to keep in mind is once you get to like greater of 80, no matter what armor I show you, the chances of you getting that 4 chance bonus to augment is going to decrease significantly because obviously mobs can do a lot of damage. Sometimes they leave poison trails, like in this particular RNG fest that I got. Alright, added some more Paragon. So what you really want to keep an eye on is basically those pulls. Try not to get too aggressive. Don't get discouraged when you start taking deaths in greater of 80, even when your armor is potentially optimized to be able to clear these things, because speed is definitely important when you're going for the leaderboards, which is pretty much what everybody likes to do every season. But in terms of roughly in a seasonal journey, you're going to be pushing a lot of greater rifts towards 75 and up until you get a lot of Paragon. So keep that in mind, you know. Usually when people are going for high position on leaderboards for seasons because they've been Paragon farming. And before they even begin to Paragon farm, which roughly starts about greater if 75 and 80 once you're in the 1,000 Paragon range. Chances are, I gotta back away here because if not I'm gonna take a death. Look at all those explosions. This is why Fist of the Heavens is so great. Bombardment is gonna be very, very interesting because it's gotten a lot of damage modifiers to its items. It's been reworked a little bit, the amount of bombardments that come down and how many you can cast at a time. There's a chance that probably it's going to get nerfed for Season 22, which is why maybe Blizzard took a bit of a delay with the PTB testing and then the season. I think something's going to get maybe nerfed. Maybe they might buff something. There's a chance they might rework things because there has been people complaining a little bit about the loss of Etch Sigil, particularly mages or wizards, because they have lost a very viable strategy that was used in a lot of builds. Bazooka wizards like to use Etch Sigil. Typhoon sets love to use Etch Sigil as well because it gave them a little bit more versatility to be able to get more bang for their buck when they channeled, I believe it's called Disintegrate, if I remember correctly. So Etch Signal's been changed. Now it can only work with Energy Twisters, which Energy Twisters have not really been a thing in Diablo since about Season 12, roughly. So, you know, it looks like that might be slowly making a comeback. It's not... They haven't really given it enough buffs and augmentations to really be able to push it. However, it looks like when it comes to Typhoon, and this is something that I'm currently experimenting with on our platforms, but as well as keeping an eye on, is the reworked wand. There's a wand that was like a regular rare that's now been upgraded to legendary that says you get 150% damage modifier to Hydras when you cast a Blizzard. So I think that's kind of what's going to start being a supplement for Etch Sigil. I think Bombardment probably has the highest chance of getting nerfed because it went from an F-tier armor and then all of a sudden in PTB testing became this god super clearing thing where, you know, it was clearing things almost on the level of a Gears of Dreadland set where, you know, you're just running through things with the Steed charge and dropping bombardments down from the sky. So I think they'll probably nerf it a little bit. I don't think they're going to buff that. Okay, let me... Alright, see, this is why you channel Free Heaven's Fury, or Free Fist of the Heavens, then start channeling your Heaven's Fury. You could pretty much take down a Rift Guardian even level 80 with ease. You saw there, outside of that death that I died by the acid, pretty much cleared that relatively easy without any struggles. I'm going to augment this gem. I'm in level 80, so now some of these gems are hard to... Ideally for this set, it's Bane of the Stricken, Pain Enhancer, and if you wanted to, also Bane of the Trap, just so you can get a slowdown. Okay, there we go. You also can use Bane of the Stricken. I believe you can be able to use Taeguk in this set as well, because I believe Fist of the Heavens counts as channeling. But Pain Enhancer is going to give you way more mileage. Bane of the Trap can give you a bit more mileage, just because Bane of the Trap, once it gets to 25, you get a automatic slow. I'm not using Bane of the Trap, though. If I'm not mistaken, you'll see at the end of this particular Greater Rift... Oops. Took a big death here. Remember, this is Greater Rift 85 right now, so... This is like Torment 16, but with a ×5 damage modifier and HP modifier to all the enemies that are on the screen. So here is kind of when your armor, you're going to be relying on channeling not Fist of the Heavens, but then when you run into something that's taking way too long to die, then you have to start firing Heaven's Fury. Roughly about Greater Rift 85 is when you start mitigating between the two skills. I gotta... didn't have a chance to back away there. Don't worry about taking deaths, like I always say, because you're at a high... I gotta really back away, though. Look at all these guys there. I actually used the Shield Bash so I could dizzy them a little bit, so I could get a little bit of distance and back away. That's why Shield Bash is there, really for when you're running into a situation. You could kind of just give yourself a little bit of distance to heal a bit. Heaven's Fury there. Okay, see? That's why Heaven's Fury is important now. Channel more Fist of the Heavens. Usually Fist of the Heavens to little mobs. And then when you run into Elite Packs starting at this particular Greater Rift and above... Ooh, wow, got one shot there. I wasn't expecting that. Really is when you're just going to start relying on that Heaven's Fury. Also, definitely keep an eye on your Akarat's champion, which on my particular screen would be the X button for me. Keep in mind, I'm a console player. I'm playing on the Nintendo Switch platform. Whatever button is for you, make sure. Keep an eye on that reload time. So you always want to make sure you can keep that up. When it's not up is when you definitely want to be careful as to how aggressive you get, particularly in this high level. Because at this point, really what I'm trying to do is augment gems so I can take this to an even higher Greater Rift. Augmenting gems. Ideally, I want my gems that I'm using on this set to be in the 80 to 90 range. Once they hit 90 is when they abilities cap, so you can't get their abilities even higher. And then if you want to, you could, in theory, augment them into the armor and just start leveling the same gems again at a lower level. I don't really recommend that. I recommend augmenting gems you don't want because you don't get the ability of the gem into your armor. It's just used for augmentation. Wow, I got caught by something. I wasn't even really too sure where I got, but it's fine. Get that. I'm going to pop my Akarat's champion here in a second. I'm just waiting to get a mob. Okay. Pop my Akarat's champion. I'm going to start channeling Fist of the Heavens after the third stack if I wanted to. Either I could channel Nerf Fist of the Heavens to do a massive amount of damage on the fourth cast, or I could fire Heaven's Fury. I'm going to reserve Heaven's Fury really for when I run into Elite Packs or the Rift Guardian, because I'm really not going to need to use it any other time here. So Crusader, really, it's going to come down to if Season 22, if Blizzard decides that they're going to nerf the damage modifiers that they've done to the Bombardment Overhaul. I don't really think they're going to do that. Maybe they might augment or nerf one of the armors that particularly relies on it, or maybe they'll nerf a little bit of Akarat's champion. I don't think so, though. I think, if anything, we're going to have 2 S tiers for the Crusader in Season 22. There's going to be those of you who are going to want to gravitate towards the Bombardment set. And Bombardment's pretty fun because it brings a different style of play. Crusader is going to be more of a zoning, far away type of armor. So if you like doing all your damage from a distance and not really going up and close and personal, you're probably going to lean towards this as your S-tier Crusader set for Season 22. And it is your starter set, so you're automatically guaranteed after Chapter 4 completion to get a full set of that. Or people are going to gravitate towards a hybrid of Akan, the armor of Akan, 2 pieces of Invoker. Then they're going to use the 2 ancient legendary set pieces, which is like Fail of the Steed, and I think it's Shield of the Steed, which allow your horse that you channel, the steed, to be able to do large amounts of damage, and then you have a very slow down and cooldown. Basically, Bombardment Crusader at the moment looks like it's going to be a speed farm S-tier build, and Valor Crusader is going to be more of a S-tier push build. So it depends on your playstyle. If you like to speed through things, Bombardment's going to be your way to go. Valor Crusader, when you mix it with the Satyr pieces, which Satyr is basically just Captain Crimson, the belt and the feet. That's going to be able to speed you all the way up until about Greater Rift 80. Once you get to Greater Rift 80, it's going to significantly decrease, and then it's a matter of what you want to pick. But this will be your easier gateway into the beginning of Season 22 just because you get this automatically, as opposed to trying to really farm heavily for the pieces of Akan and Invoker. So you could start with this, and then as you're slowly building towards the other pieces to do Bombardment Crusader, then you could switch over to that. If you see that you've already invested so much time energy, have augmented gems into this. Stick with Valor Crusader, though. Because Valor Crusader, once you have about 5 augmentations, this greater if 80 that you're seeing right now, or if I think this is actually 85 if I'm not mistaken, will... Actually, you can shave the clear time. You can get this down to like a 5, 4, even 3-minute clear time. It's just a matter of augmenting the gems. You know, you get a full set of augmentations, you're going to be able to do greater if 130 with this armor with ease. I don't have a full set of augmentations because remember, variety gamer on this channel. I don't only play Diablo. I play other things like Pokemon VGC, a couple other things that you're going to be seeing introduced this week because I want to spice things up a little bit. I'm going to be adding another dungeon crawler to the mix this week, so you're definitely going to be seeing videos of that. But yeah, I'm a variety gamer, so some of these things, and these are old seasonal characters. I have another character that's completely Paragon farmed to be able to do Grey Rough 150s. I tend to do those in groups, though. Alright, so this is going to be matter of me shifting between Heaven's Fury and Fist of the Heavens, which you saw there. Alright, see, so even with, we took a couple deaths there, we were able to take out the Rift Guardian. I think this was 85 or 80. Relative ease. I'm going to augment some gems here. I'm actually augmenting things for the Armor of a Khan, believe it or not. So, some of this stuff is not in the Valor Crusader set, which I will put up on screen in a couple seconds here. So, I'm actually doing double duty. I'm working on Season 22 Bombardment set for these guys. The very first week of Season 22 is when I'm going to be releasing that video, because if I put out... That was a greater of 85, by the way. If I put out that video now, it doesn't work in Season 21. So for everybody that's playing Season 21, it's like significantly decreased in power. Not this set, the Bombardment set. This set is pretty much the end-all to be-all of Season 21. It was the best set for the Crusader. So as you can see, this is what I use. This is the Valor Crusader. This is what it does. Those are the exact abilities. You get damage increased to Fist of the Heavens, Heaven's Fury, and then based on stack. Fate of the Fell. This is a weapon that you're definitely going to want to look for very fast in your season. You want the Captain Crimson set, so you're going to need a belt, and you're going to need the feet. I got lucky, and I got the Primal Ancient Legendary for that. For your rings, this is what you want. You want an Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac, preferably with a slot on it. You want a Flavor of Time in your necklace. You want a Ring of Royal Grandeur, primarily in your cube, but I didn't have a good one really to work with ring-wise because I have a lot of different sets, so I decided to do that. So those are pretty much the abilities you're going to want to use in conjunction. Really, Fist of the Heavens and Heaven's Fury are there to do all your damage. Everything else, Akarat's Champion, Law of Valor, those are there to boost your things. Heavenly Strength is going to give you the most attack boost. Holy Claws will give you a lot of attack boost. Longer than Alar is important, but Finery is even more important. I have a Dark Bright, I have the belt, and thing. Keep in mind, my cube is a little bit different from the link in the description. Link in the description is going to tell you Stone Gauntlets. I like to power up my Heaven's Fury more. So thanks for watching. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe. See you on Wednesday for the next video in Diablo 3.